Life is a journey filled with choices, but have you ever stopped to think about what happens when those decisions are no longer in your hands? Imagine a future where you, who have always been the captain of your ship, find yourself at the mercy of others. What makes you feel alive? The freedom to choose your path. It's easy to believe that as we reach a certain age, handing everything over to our children is the most logical course. But what if that tranquility is a trap that robs you of your autonomy and years of a fulfilling life? Have you ever wondered how to ensure that your old age is shaped by you, not by others? Today, we will explore 7 essential keys to maintaining control over your life, from health to finances. And don't worry, this isn't selfishness, it's wisdom. A wisdom that dates back more than 2,000 years and is more relevant now than ever. Ready to discover how to live fully, even in old age? Then stay with me until the end, and let's uncover how to be the author of your own story. Control over one's own life. You know, I have always believed that having control over one's life is fundamental, especially as we age. Sometimes it feels like circumstances push us into situations where autonomy becomes a challenge, particularly when we rely on care or assistance. However, even in those situations, it's crucial that we maintain the ability to make decisions about what we want and how we want to live. This can be something simple, like choosing what to eat or which movie to watch. But those small choices have a significant impact on our sense of control. When I reflect on life, I realize that autonomy is not just about having the freedom to decide. It's also about the responsibility we have for those decisions. At times, the pressure of dependence can make us feel like we're losing that freedom. But that's where the real challenge begins. We need to find ways to assert our preferences, even if it means having difficult conversations with loved ones. The truth is that wanting to maintain control is a sign of strength, not weakness. One aspect we cannot ignore is how this autonomy influences our mental health. When we make active choices, we feel, in a way, in command. This, in turn, helps us cope better with the stress and anxiety that can arise as we age. And let's face it, we all want to live our final years with dignity and happiness, don't we? On the other hand, there's a balance to be struck. Sometimes we need to accept that we can't control everything. It's a dance between enjoying what we can decide and accepting what is beyond our reach. This acceptance is, in fact, a form of control in itself. By recognizing our limitations, we can focus on the areas of life where we have more influence, thus feeling more empowered. Maintaining control over one's own life is an act of resistance. It serves as a reminder that even amidst challenges and changes, we are still the protagonists of our story. And by doing this, we show others that autonomy is not a matter of age, but of attitude. The dichotomy of control. I have always been fascinated by Stoic philosophers and their ideas about what we can and cannot control. This dichotomy is a concept that can genuinely change how we navigate our lives. When I focus on what is within my influence, I experience a peace that is hard to describe. It's as if the weight of the world becomes a little lighter. Worrying about things beyond my reach is futile, and that's a lesson I've learned over the years. Throughout life, I've realized that excessive concern about the future or situations I cannot change only breeds anxiety. The truth is, we cannot control the state of the world, the health of our loved ones, or even the weather. What we can control are our reactions and choices. When I internalized this, my peace of mind began to flourish. I learned to appreciate the present moment and focus on the small joys of daily life, which made all the difference. So how can we apply this philosophy in our everyday lives? I started by making a list of the things that I can genuinely control: my decisions, my attitude, and how I interact with others. The more I concentrate on this, the more I feel like I am in command of my life. And surprisingly, this approach has helped me tackle challenges that once seemed insurmountable. Another important point is that Stoic teachings aren't about becoming indifferent or apathetic. In fact, they encourage us to act within our possibilities. When we recognize what we can and cannot change, we become more capable of taking effective action in the areas that truly matter. This clarity brings a sense of purpose and direction, which is vital, especially in old age. The dichotomy of control has taught me that true freedom comes from acceptance. Accepting that there are things we cannot change allows us to focus on our own journey, making decisions that genuinely reflect who we are. This freedom is a gift we should cherish and cultivate every day. Planning for old age. When I think about planning for old age, I recognize that the idea of preparing for the future can be uncomfortable, but it is crucial. It's never too late to start making decisions about finances, health, and housing. The simple act of planning not only gives us a sense of control, but also helps avoid becoming a burden on our children, something many of us wish to avoid. After all, Who doesn't want to be a light load rather than a burden? One aspect I consider vital is financial planning. Throughout my life, I've made it a priority to save and invest, always thinking ahead to a future where I could maintain my autonomy. Having a financial plan doesn't mean that everything will go as expected, but at least we know we have a foundation to work from. This brings invaluable peace of mind, both for us and our families. In addition to finances, health is another point that cannot be overlooked. Taking care of our bodies and minds should be a priority at any stage of life, but especially in old age. Making decisions about medical care and maintaining a healthy lifestyle puts us in a better position to face the challenges ahead. And once again, this ties back to the idea of autonomy. When we are healthy, we have more control over our lives and decisions. And what about housing? This is an issue that is often overlooked. For me, it is essential to think about where I want to live as I age. It's important that the environment we choose to live in is safe and accessible, yet still reflects our personality and lifestyle. I don't want to live in a place out of necessity, but by choice. So, when planning for old age, remember that every decision counts. Preparation may seem daunting, but when we break it down into smaller steps, it becomes easier. And most importantly, by taking charge of our future, we ensure that our later years are lived with dignity and, above all, with autonomy. Clear communication about desires. One aspect that is often overlooked, but I consider fundamental, is clear communication about our desires. As we age, it's inevitable that we start thinking about medical care and financial decisions. However, many of us do not openly discuss what we truly want out of fear or discomfort. This lack of dialogue can lead to misunderstandings and ultimately to decisions that do not reflect our true preferences. When I began to address this topic with my family, I realized that communication is a two-way street. It's not just about expressing what we want, but also about listening to the concerns of others. This creates a safe space where everyone feels comfortable discussing what matters most. By doing so, we can align expectations and avoid unpleasant surprises in the future. A good starting point for these conversations is to talk about medical care. It's essential that our family members know what we desire regarding treatments and interventions if we reach a point where we cannot make those decisions. Clearly expressing these desires can alleviate the emotional burden on our children and ensure we receive the type of care we truly want. Moreover, openly discussing financial matters is equally important. Often, we allow the taboo surrounding money to prevent us from having necessary conversations. By talking about how we want to manage our finances, we not only help our children understand our intentions, but also prepare them for the future. This is liberating for both us and them. Clear communication not only empowers us but also strengthens family bonds. By openly discussing our desires and concerns, we create an environment of trust that can provide genuine emotional support. After all, it's not just about care and finances. It's about building a healthy and transparent relationship with those we love. Diversification of social relationships. Talking about the diversification of social relationships resonates deeply with me. Throughout my life, I've learned that relying solely on family is not the best strategy. I don't want to place the burden on my children of being my only support. Therefore, I've been making an effort to cultivate friendships and build a broader support network. After all, life is richer when we have different people around us. When I refer to diversification, I'm not just talking about having a variety of friends. I'm talking about creating connections with people of different ages and experiences. These relationships bring new perspectives and can be incredibly enriching. Additionally, having a diverse group helps us feel that we belong to a community, which is crucial for our emotional well-being. Another important aspect is that by diversifying our relationships, we reduce the pressure on our family members. When we have friends and other support networks, we're not just overwhelming our children with emotional expectations. This creates a space where we can share joys and sorrows and also seek help when necessary, without creating a burden. Moreover, community activities are a great way to connect with others. Participating in interest groups, clubs, or even volunteering can open doors. Maintaining emotional independence. Sometimes I wonder how easy it is to lose the thread of our emotions. We tend to let others' expectations, especially those of our children, shape what we feel. Maintaining emotional independence is a challenge, but it is vital. In order not to overload my children with my insecurities and anxieties, I always seek out my own support network. Talking to friends, joining groups, or even engaging in activities that bring me joy helps lighten this emotional load. One strategy I've adopted is the practice of self-reflection. Taking time to think about how I feel about certain situations and people has allowed me to better understand my limits. This helps me communicate my needs without creating unnecessary tension. I've also realized that by sharing my emotions with friends instead of my children, I'm creating a safe space for them. This way, they can be children, not therapists. Additionally, pursuing hobbies and activities that make me feel good is essential. The sense of belonging to a group or dedicating myself to a personal project brings a satisfaction that depends only on me. This emotional independence acts as a shield, protecting me from external pressures and allowing me to live with more ease. Being aware of my emotions also helps me avoid falling back into old patterns of emotional dependency. By recognizing when I start to feel overwhelmed, I take a pause and reassess what is truly bothering me. This practice makes me stronger and less susceptible to letting worries affect my relationship with my children. Learning to express gratitude for the small things in everyday life has been a powerful way to maintain my emotional health. Appreciating simple moments like a quiet breakfast or a casual conversation helps me focus on what really matters rather than getting caught up in expectations and anxieties. The art of saying no. Saying no is a skill I've come to value over time. It's not just about refusing something, it's about setting boundaries that protect my well-being. I recognize that life is full of responsibilities and invitations that may seem urgent, but I've learned that sometimes the best choice is to prioritize what truly matters to me. One of the situations where I most need to say no is when I feel overwhelmed by requests for help. While I want to be present for my family and friends, I need to remember that my mental health comes first. By declining certain requests, I affirm that I also have priorities and limits that deserve respect. Establishing these boundaries isn't easy, especially when there's guilt involved. But over time, I've realized that when I say no to something that drains me, I'm actually saying yes to my well-being. This allows me to be a better version of myself, capable of offering support in a healthier and more genuine way. The art of saying no also applies to social commitments. I often find myself in situations where I'm merely fulfilling obligations rather than enjoying the company of others. I've learned that I don't need to be present at every event or meeting. Saying no is a way to prioritize my time and energy for what truly makes me happy. Saying no is a form of self-discovery. Every time I refuse to do something, I'm reaffirming what my values are and what truly matters to me. This practice of self-affirmation strengthens me and helps me live a more authentic life, where my choices are guided by my own desires rather than external pressures. Adapting the environment over time, I've realized that my living space needs to adapt to the changes happening within me. Adapting my environment is essential to ensure I maintain my independence and comfort. I've started viewing my home differently, seeking solutions that preserve its essence while also addressing my physical needs. One example of this was the installation of handrails and support bars in strategic locations. These small adjustments not only guarantee safety, but also provide me with the freedom to move around with more confidence. The feeling of being in a space that embraces me without limitations is invaluable. Furthermore, lighting is an aspect I cannot overlook. Creating a well-lit and inviting environment makes all the difference in my daily life. I opted for adjustable lamps, allowing me to control the intensity of the light according to my mood or needs. This is undoubtedly a way to personalize my space and ensure it reflects who I am. Another adaptation I made concerns organization. By keeping things in their designated places, I can avoid the stress of searching for items I need. I adopted a simple organization system that helps me know where to find everything, streamlining my routine. This clarity in my environment brings a sense of inner peace that often gets lost in the hustle and bustle of daily life. Choosing comfortable and functional furniture is another point I can't neglect. Opting for pieces that are practical yet aesthetically pleasing allows me to maintain the essence of my home. After all, my space should reflect my style while also being a place where I feel safe and at ease. Living in the present life is made up of moments, and sometimes I find myself so worried about the future that I forget to appreciate what's happening right now. Living in the present has become an essential practice for me. I've learned that gratitude is a powerful tool that helps me value the little things in daily life, like a friend's smile or the aroma of coffee in the morning. One of the ways I've found to connect with the present is through meditation. Taking a few minutes each day to simply breathe and focus on the here and now has brought me a serenity I didn't know I needed. This practice helps me slow down and appreciate the beauty of simple moments. Additionally, I started keeping a gratitude journal. This activity not only helps me focus on the positive, but also reminds me how rich life is in experiences, even in its subtleties. At the end of each day, I take time to reflect on what happened and jot down those moments that brought me joy or satisfaction. The practice of living in the present also helps me cope with anxiety. When I start to worry excessively about what's to come, I remind myself that the only thing I truly have is the now. This allows me to release the burdens of the future and embrace the freedom that comes with accepting the moment. I've learned that connecting with others is also a way to live in the present. Being truly present in a conversation, listening attentively, and sharing experiences is a way to nourish meaningful relationships. Those moments of genuine connection are what make life richer and more rewarding. Self-care and health. Taking care of myself has never been a priority, but over time I realized that health is the foundation of my independence in old age. Adopting a healthy lifestyle has become a necessity not only for my body, but also for my mind. Regular physical activity helps me maintain energy and vitality, and it's an excellent antidote to stress. Healthy eating is also a fundamental pillar. I've learned to appreciate fresh and nutritious foods that not only nourish my body, but also uplift my spirit. Cooking has become a moment of pleasure and creativity, where I can explore new flavors and recipes, taking care of myself in a joyful way. Another aspect I cannot ignore is the importance of good sleep. Recognizing that quality rest is essential for my mental and physical health has led me to create a nighttime routine that promotes relaxation. Disconnecting from electronic devices and creating a peaceful environment are steps that greatly aid this process. Mental health is also a priority in my life. I seek moments of relaxation and leisure, whether it's watching a good movie, reading a book, or spending time with friends. These breaks are essential for my well-being and help me recharge my energy to face the daily challenges. Regular checkups have become part of my routine. Preventing health issues is an act of self-love that ensures I can continue living independently and actively. Caring for myself is undoubtedly the key to a dignified and fulfilling old age. Financial decision-making. When I think about my life and how I have managed my finances, I realize how crucial this is for my autonomy. I don't want to reach a point where I rely on my children to make financial decisions. They have their own lives, and it's unfair for them to bear that burden. Therefore, I have been making an effort to better understand how investments work, how to save money, and most importantly, how to create a budget that allows me to live comfortably without needing to ask for help. I have established a financial plan that provides me with security and freedom. I make it a point to regularly review my accounts, ensure that my expenses are controlled, and that I am saving a bit each month. This practice gives me a sense of control over my life. It's not just about having money, it's about knowing that I am taking care of what is mine. This allows me to maintain dignity and autonomy, even in a scenario where dependence could become a reality. In addition, it's essential for me to be alert to investment opportunities. Over the years, I've learned that knowledge is one of the best tools to avoid unpleasant surprises. I don't expect my children to teach me about finances. I want them to see me as someone who has taken the reins of my own life. This not only empowers me, but also serves as an example for them, demonstrating that it is possible to manage things with responsibility and discernment. Transparency in my finances is something I also value. I openly discuss with my children how I manage my money, which helps create an atmosphere of trust and understanding. They know I'm not just waiting for them to take care of me. I am actively seeking ways to take care of myself. This communication is essential for them to feel comfortable and not pressured to assume responsibilities they shouldn't have to take on. Having a well-structured financial plan allows me to live more peacefully. Worrying about the future is natural, but I don't want it to prevent me from enjoying the present. Knowing that I have an emergency fund, for example, gives me the freedom to live without the constant fear of depending on someone else. Thus, I continue to build my story with dignity and security. Preparing for the unexpected events happen, and life is full of surprises. One of the most valuable lessons I've learned over the years is the importance of being prepared for the unforeseen. I don't want an accident or a health emergency to catch me off guard, and even more so, I don't want to be at the mercy of others. That's why I have been working on a well-defined emergency plan. This means I made sure to have a health insurance policy that truly works and can cover a variety of situations that may arise. Additionally, I maintain an emergency fund, a separate amount of money that I can access quickly if needed. This preparation gives me a level of autonomy that is hard to describe. I don't have to worry about being a burden. I know I have the resources to deal with any difficulties that may come my way. Another part of this preparation is organizing my documentation. I keep all my important documents in an easily accessible place, which simplifies things in case of an emergency. Furthermore, I have informed my children about where these documents are and how they can be accessed. This is not just a practical matter. It's also a way to ensure that if I cannot make decisions for myself, they know exactly what to do. Mental health is also an important aspect of preparation. Being prepared for the unexpected isn't just about having money or documents in order. It also means being mentally ready to face whatever comes my way. Therefore, I have been seeking ways to keep my mind engaged and healthy. I practice activities that bring me joy and help me cope with stress. This gives me a solid foundation to face any type of crisis. Preparing for the unexpected is an act of self-love. By taking care of myself and my situation, I am showing that I value my dignity and autonomy. I don't want to be seen merely as someone who needs help, but as someone who is always ready to face the challenges that life presents. This attitude is fundamental to maintaining my freedom and control over my own story. Dignity in old age. Dignity is a central element in how I view aging. I am not afraid of growing older, but I am afraid of losing my autonomy, and consequently, my dignity. For me, aging should not mean becoming a burden or losing the ability to make choices. That's why I strive to be the author of my own story, making decisions that reflect who I am and what I want. One way to maintain dignity is to continue making choices about my life. This means I am always attentive to what I want and what I do not want. If I dislike something or feel uncomfortable in a situation, I speak up. This ability to express my preferences is vital, as it allows me to maintain control over my life, even when circumstances change. Additionally, I seek activities that connect me with what truly matters. Participating in groups, volunteering, or simply being present in the lives of my friends and family are ways I feel useful and valued. When I feel active and engaged, my dignity is preserved. I don't want to be merely someone waiting for care. I want to be someone who still has much to offer. Respecting myself and others is another aspect of dignity. By treating others with dignity, I am affirming my own. This includes respecting my children's opinions and choices, even when I sometimes disagree. This healthy exchange of ideas and feelings is essential for maintaining positive and meaningful relationships. Having a sense of purpose is crucial for dignity in old age. Continuing to learn, explore new interests, and seek experiences that make me happy keeps my life rich and fulfilling. This isn't just about passing time, it's about living with intention and meaning. By doing this, I am not only maintaining my dignity, but also showing my children and the next generation that old age can be a vibrant phase full of possibilities. Proactive planning. When it comes to planning, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of being proactive. It's all too easy to let life take the reins, waiting for others to make decisions on our behalf. However, I've come to realize that a lack of planning can lead to serious and often unwanted consequences. I remember a time when I left everything in the hands of my family, only to find that some important decisions were not made the way I would have liked. This experience taught me that I must be the architect of my own life. Organizing financial, legal, and health aspects is a fundamental step in this process. I was prompted to reflect on my retirement, insurance, and even health issues. By educating myself and taking the reins, I not only feel more secure but also more prepared for any eventuality. Creating a financial plan that works for me, for instance, has brought me a peace of mind I didn't expect. Knowing that I am saving and investing appropriately gives me a sense of control and autonomy. And it's not just about money. Legal planning is equally crucial. I've thought about what I want for my future and how I can ensure that my wishes are respected. Writing a will, for example, isn't a pleasant topic, but it's a way to ensure that things will happen according to my desires. When I finally made this decision, I felt an immense relief, as if a weight had been lifted from my shoulders. Health is another aspect to consider. Keeping regular checkups, monitoring tests, and taking care of my diet are ways to ensure I am doing my part. Tackling health proactively not only keeps me physically better, but also gives me a sense of responsibility for my well-being. Instead of waiting for something to happen, I am taking steps to prevent future problems. Proactive planning is an act of self-love and respect for myself and for those I care about. It's a commitment to live life to the fullest without letting chance dictate my destiny. By taking on this responsibility, I feel that I'm building a legacy that not only benefits me, but also those around me, living in the present. You know, as time has passed, I've learned that living in the present is a true art. It's so easy to get lost in worries about what's yet to come, in the plans we've made, and in the uncertainties that life holds for us. However, when I allow myself to focus on the now, I feel a lightness that often escapes me when I'm bogged down in thoughts about the future. It's almost like a breathing exercise, where each moment lived becomes a reflective pause, an opportunity to savor life in its essence. One day, while walking in the park, I noticed how the leaves danced in the wind. Instead of worrying about what I should be doing at work or the responsibilities waiting for me at home, I simply let my mind wander in the beauty of that scene. The sunlight filtered through the trees, and I realized that these small moments are what truly matter. They anchor us to the present, pull us out of autopilot, and remind us that life is made up of moments that deserve to be appreciated. This practice of living in the present doesn't mean ignoring the future or failing to plan. On the contrary, it's an invitation to balance the concern for what's to come with the appreciation of what is happening now. When I'm attentive to the present, I find that many of my anxieties are constructs of the mind. Often the things I fear don't come to pass, and if they do happen, I'll be more prepared to handle the situation at the right moment. It's as if I'm telling myself, calm down, the future hasn't arrived yet, so enjoy what you have right now. Moreover, living in the present helps me to value the small joys of everyday life. A warm cup of coffee in the morning, a casual conversation with a friend, or even the feeling of the wind on my face while riding a bike. These simple experiences, when fully embraced, become memorable moments. And that's what I seek. To connect with these instances that are often overshadowed by the hustle and bustle of life. Every smile, every genuine interaction is an opportunity to be truly present. I realize that living in the present requires constant practice, just like any skill. It's an invitation to slow down, take a deep breath, and open my eyes to the beauty that surrounds us. Sometimes I catch myself getting distracted again, but when that happens, I simply remind myself to return to the now. After all, life happens here and now, and I don't want to miss any of it. Hey everyone, I hope you've absorbed each of the lessons we shared today. Aging doesn't have to be a burden. It can be a phase of achievements and discoveries. Imagine what your life could be like if you take control now. What decisions can you make today that will impact your tomorrow? Think about it, and remember, we're not talking about selfishness, but about wisdom. It's about being the protagonist of your own story. Now tell me, how do you plan to apply these keys in your life? I'm sure there's something you can start doing right away. Whether it's taking care of your health, organizing your finances, or diversifying your relationships, what will you choose? Before you go, don't forget to give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss anything we have coming up. And if you know someone who could benefit from these reflections, share this video with them. Sometimes a simple gesture can transform someone's life. Let's embark on this journey together. I want to know where you're listening from. Leave your comment, and let's build this community of life wisdom together. See you next time.